Good evening, ladies and gentlemen out there in YouTube land. I am Deleted Scenes, and I would like to welcome you to the other side of midnight. Already into chat with the smoldering new avatar, Letters Network. Some Deleted Scenes guy, kind of worried about him. Wrenches, keep an eye on this guy. Faithful Blue Wrench, the bird woman of YouTube, Connie Clary. Friend of the channel, JP RPH1. Pop culture curator. Last Pacelli calling somebody, I don't know. He's here. Randon the anime guy. Aged Boomer. I have guests backstage. I will now bring them on. Last call, Troy Pacelli and Letters Network.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm pretty good. Ladies and gentlemen, the reason I know you are all really here, Sense Corner.
No.
Yes?
Kind of the reason I came too.
Well, I'm so glad you're here. It's always fun to talk.
Host of Kiki Geezers, Aged Boomer.
Hello, everybody.
I'm sick of this guy.
You're so mean.
I am. I really am. I'm much nicer on Fridays after a few drinks.
Aren't we all?
And the guy who's probably wondering how the hell did he get talked into this shit?
Exactly.
Brandon the anime guy.
Gentlemen and ladies, just remember, if you're coming and going and going and coming, don't ever go too soon.
Oh, I see how that works. Good advice, Brandon. Yes, I agree.
Indeed. Hello, everybody. It's good to see you out there after midnight, or at least for me, it's only after 10.
You have a
And
radio
Steven?
voice. Has anybody
He does.
told you that?
He really
Okay,
does.
Sorry.
Yes.
Yes, I've been told that several times. In fact, yesterday I had to go to my little nephew's 4th birthday, and my sister-in-law doesn't know that I do the YouTube thing, and somehow it came up, and she's like, "Wait a minute, you do YouTube thing?" I'm like, "Yeah." "Show me some of your stuff." So I showed her a little bit of the show from yesterday, and she's like, "Holy shit, you've got the voice for radio.
Yeah.
And the
Okay.
face for it, too."
No.
No, the face is okay. It's just a little fat. And I want to say, Steven, it's incredible to see your channel blow up like it has. I remember when you only had like a few people, and now you're all grown up, or you're growing up so fast.
Yes.
So good on
Yeah,
you.
I had an interesting month there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you really lit a fire under a lot of us. I mean, it was like, okay, it's time to get serious about this now. And when you say you blew up your channel, it's not because you dropped some old dynamite. It really did blow up.
Yes.
Yeah, I really owe it to Bill because it was a video that I did with him that just a couple of videos I did with him actually just went viral and blew up, and it got me got us both really a number of new subscribers. I mean, we didn't do anything hinky, folks. You know, we just got our own. And so yeah, you know, we got
Good.
some new faces in the chat, and we got a fan base behind us now. And
Excellent.
speaking of which, there are a few here. Shadow of the Raven.
The shadow knows what lurks in the hearts
I like
of
that
men.
name. Shadow of the Raven.
Right in.
Cool.
Quoth the Raven, nevermore.
Today's a special anniversary.
Is it?
Is it?
It's the on this day, Oscar winner Halle Berry accepted the Razzie for Catwoman.
Nice.
Wasn't the line something like,
Oh my
I
gosh.
want to thank Warner Brothers for this, you know, putting me in this piece of crap or something like that?
She was a good sport about it.
Yeah, she was. She really was. I'll tell you something. For all the guff I gave that movie, her response to it was that's movie star material, you know.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I said it earlier tonight on Unscripted. You know, I don't expect every movie to be a winner every time. If you go into every movie expecting that you're going to see Citizen Kane or Gone with the Wind, you're kind of going in with the wrong attitude. You got to give every movie a chance, but you understand that you can't be putting, you know, some mid-budgeted or straight to VOD movie on the same level as like a classic and expect it to be equally as good, you know. Like this whole Madam Web thing that I talked about on. I
It's on a lot of
reviewed it. I
people's
saw it
minds still.
yesterday. I reviewed
Oh,
it.
that's right. You did. Yeah.
I talked about it on Unscripted to a certain extent as well, you know. And I felt that if I was going to go into, you know, because on Unscripted I talked about the whole Chris Stuckman situation with his sort of non-review of Madam Web. I felt, okay, I opened my mouth. Now I got to kind of see the movie. So I
right.
sat down. I watched the whole thing. I said, look, put the other reviews out of your mind. The good ones and the bad ones, because I do know there are a couple of people here who are friends of mine who did like it or found stuff in it to like, which is perfectly fine. I said, okay, just put all of the reviews out of your mind. Forget all the controversy. Forget everything everybody said. Decide for yourself.
And
You know, and I went point by point, and there are a couple of things that I did like about it. I did like Adam Scott's performance as Uncle, or the character who's supposed to be Uncle Ben in this version of the Sony Spider-Verse, so to
Do
speak.
they
as I
actually
call it.
say he's Uncle Ben?
He's Ben.
He's a Ben,
No.
but we don't know if he's the
He's-
Ben because
They don't say it because they can't, because they don't have the rights.
Yeah, well, you know it's Uncle Ben.
okay.
It's
Mhm.
it's clear to anybody who knows, you know, Spider-Man. You know it's Uncle Ben, and his wife
And,
is his sister
his
is
sister.
getting ready to have a baby,
Mhm.
and they just cut it off right before she says what the baby's name's going to be. I don't think that's ever revealed because, like you said,
They
they
don't
can't say it,
Mm-hmm.
and so yeah.
And hello to Bush McFadden. Do the girls fight? Do they get into costume? Do they do anything? They
Like
are in
half a second.
costume for like about a minute, and then
Yeah,
that's
it's-
it.
And it's only a flashback scene, not a flashback. Sorry, it's a scene one of the
Sort
characters
of a flash
knows that's
forward, I guess.
yeah, flash forward
Yeah.
exactly, and you do not see the girls get their powers, so you don't even know how
No.
that happens. You just know this is something that happens in the future, and it's yeah, it was not good, and I was willing to give it
It's-
a chance.
Yeah. and it's edited together by a pack of squirrels who I do not know who the sound editor or the ADR editor on this movie was, but they should be shot in both knees and set
Let's
on
get
fire.
violent right away. All right.
There's some bad editing in blockbusters lately. Just
I don't
it's like
know
lately,
what the
like
heck
last
that's
10
about.
years.
So, guys, those of you that saw Madam Web, Boosh McFadden brings up something that, and I don't know. Does Madam Web have some teleport abilities? I know she's got precognitive abilities.
So sort of, kind of. It's
Okay.
a little strange. Okay, you know what? Totally forgot to mention this in my review of it, but they mentioned she could have this possible ability to like tap into this some element of her power and basically be in multiple places at once. It's just mentioned to her. And then right at this critical moment, she's just suddenly able to tap into it and it works. And I was like,
Okay.
we should have seen a little bit
they-
of work for that first.
They don't explain it.
Yeah, just all of a sudden she goes, oh, and then it happens. Okay, of course.
So this is another one of those Marvel, specifically Sony Marvel stories that takes what was really minor characters in the comics, but have so much potential they could be elevated. Especially Madam Web. Madam Web, they could totally draw. Okay, so her whole thing is she's blind, she's crippled. Specifically in the time frame of Peter Parker being Spider-Man, she's an older woman, and she's got precognitive abilities. The idea of paralleling her advanced precognitive abilities with Peter Parker's spider sense seems just genius to me. It's like they have a similar power set, but she is way focused on that one thing because she doesn't really have the ability to access the others. That could have been explored, but again, if you can't use Spider-Man, what's the point of even having these spider characters?
Sony. They have
Well-
they've gone from Sony to Soyoni in a matter
Kinda,
in a
yeah.
matter of 10 years, and it's just the typical dribble and tripe that we have to expect from Hollyweird.
Well-
It's rare to have something so good come out. Like I keep hearing that Dune is something that I should invest my time in, whereas Madam Web is one where, yeah.
The difference there, though, is that Madam Web, like I just said, all those characters are obscure characters that even diehard Marvel fans are dimly aware of. Whereas
Scratching their heads, yeah.
Dune, if you've read the books and you were already a fan, well, you have certain expectations, and you kind of, I really am looking forward to it. I loved the first half of Dune. But I wouldn't go so far as necessarily to recommend it to you, Brandon, because I don't know where you are on the Dune interest.
I'll answer that. I have the book, I've read the book, and I listened to the 24-hour audiobook of it.
Wow.
Of course, I did that while on vacation, almost a year and a half ago, going to Northern California. The last time I ever set foot in California, and that's as far into California as I want to go again.
I swear I thought you were going to say, hey, I listened to it, I read the book, and I listened to it while I was high. Which probably would have been a good way to do it.
No, I did it stone sober while driving, and it was one of the more entertaining 24 hours
Really?
that I've had. It really helped with driving, kept me focused, and I remember most of the story, and I remember comparing it to the '84 David Lynch film, the Spice Divers edit, which is fantastic. If you ever get a chance, find the Spice Diver edit of that film. It makes a huge difference.
I just did a panel about that. Yeah, great.
I've got a couple different edits of it, and I love it. But having read the books plural, I actually didn't read Chapter House because I just felt like if I read it, it's over and done with, and I've been putting it off and putting it off. But I had read Dune after watching the David Lynch film, and I think it's probably best that I did because it's a hard read. I mean, there's a glossary
Heavy
at the
sci-fi.
back. There's appendix and glossary at the back, and you absolutely need to read those too to know what's going on throughout it. It is hard sci-fi. You're right, but I feel like the simplicity, relatively speaking, of the David Lynch one helped me get an idea, a framework that I could build on as I read the book. But honestly, I feel like Vinny Villeneuve, he started out right by splitting it into 2 movies. Already, that's better than what Lynch had to work with and trying to squeeze it all into a 2-hour movie. And I'll be honest, I still wish there's still some scenes from that first movie that should have happened and didn't, and I was hoping that they were filmed and I'd see it on some extended director's cut, but I don't think that's the case. But something's got to be sacrificed.
I haven't seen the first half of this current Dune, and I'm not sure I'm going to.
Okay, how come?
Well, time was
Okay,
one,
well,
and I didn't really. I have to be very skeptical about what comes out, and I probably should have seen it in the cinemas, whereas now I can't. So I'm at
They
the
had
mercy.
been replaying it.
yeah.
I don't think my local one's doing it. They're kind of shitheads about things like that. They don't do the cool stuff, or at least not as much as they should. And if I want to do the cool stuff, I gotta drive north for about an hour to do something like that.
Yeah.
But
I heard you don't necessarily have to have watched the first one to get and enjoyed the second one.
and that's good. I know where they left off at, or where things stand. So I can. It's just a matter of do I want to watch,
Yeah.
do I want to watch what happens in the first half come to fruition, or do I want to see the rise of the Muad'Dib? So
And see, something I'm wondering if there's anyone out there, maybe even someone on this panel, deleted scenes. I am looking to have a discussion at some point about comparison of the different versions, because I could totally. I mean, I happen to love the David Lynch version.
same.
But I also love this version as well. I am able to look at the David Lynch version and say, I see what they were doing there. The differences between his version and the books, I kind of like, actually, as long as you consider it its own thing. This whole idea of these weirding modules, a weapon based on sound. You know exactly what they were doing. They were trying to do their version of a lightsaber. Instead of light, it's sound. It's just it's clear what it was. But you get all of those David Lynch visuals, right? And
Lynchisms.
Yeah, exactly. And this is one of the things that stood out to me in the Vinny Villeneuve film. There's a couple scenes where I'm like, he's paying homage to David Lynch here. He's doing some things that aren't out of the story completely, but it's like he's not, he's tipping his hat and saying, yeah, I like that one version too. And I don't.
That's kind of what Shadow of the Raven was seems to have been. I guess that's kind of what he's alluding to.
Seems
Dune
kind of
2021 seems to be a copy of the 84 version a bit. Yes, I know it's a book, but he does seem to have copied this. Yeah, I mean, there were certainly things that did.
There's that scene.
He just put his own spin on them.
There's this scene with the Baron Harkonnen, and that whole thing in the David Lynch with the boils and the grossness and everything.
Yeah,
It's
nasty.
it's a stylized interpretation of something that I don't think was an exact interpretation of what the book describes. Vinny Villeneuve does it very differently, but instead of the boils and the ick and what, it's that whole bath, the black bath that he comes out of or whatever. And I'm like, okay, I can see that. But there is this one scene where he's talking to his representative of the Bene Gesserit, and there's this like mutant dog humanoid creature all in black crawling around that, to the best of my knowledge, doesn't really appear in the books. But I looked at it and I was like, this is very Lynchian. And I was talking with some other friends that are, big Dune fans. They're like, I wonder if this is supposed to be a reference to the Bene Tleitzeu or something, like in advance. And I'm like, if it is, that's kind of brilliant. It's something that wasn't in Dune, but is part of that universe, and there's no reason not to seed it in. And if it makes me think of the David Lynch version, so much the better,
Mm-hmm. Well, that creature reminded me a lot of another Villeneuve movie called Enemy, where he has like the giant spiders and everything.
Oh.
And of course, in that movie, the spiders are not real. They're just in his head. They're a metaphor. But I did get that kind of vibe off.
Interesting.
Of it. See, he's homaging Lynch, but he has his own Lynchisms himself. He has these. They do seem to have these little
idiosyncrasies.
Whatever. Yeah, I do. I agree. I don't want to ignore the chat, and they did say a few things here. Let me scroll back real quick. Give me a moment.
Sasha is talking about the sci-fi series, mini-series of it. Yeah.
Right.
I remember that. Jack Black was in that.
Oh, wow.
Was he?
Yes.
Really?
Huh.
Okay.
I'd forgotten that. All right, I got to go
don't
back
remember
and look for him. I do want to say hello to Sashi.
Your Asian representation is right.
Yeah, Gorilla's Random Thoughts has joined us, and so has BV Elements. All right,
by the way,
because
his
Bush said
name
something
is
interesting.
Denis Villeneuve.
Denis.
Not Vinny Villeneuve.
Yeah,
kept
but
saying
that's how Troy prefers to.
Oh, you
Refer
prefer
to
to
him.
say it that? And why is that? What's that about?
Wait, are you saying that I pronounced it wrong?
Yes.
Yes.
How did I say it?
You said Vinny Villeneuve. You said it multiple times.
That's how you always say it, Troy.
Real? Well, you've never said any. Come on. I bet you don't tell your friends when they got toilet paper hanging off the back of their shoe either, do you? Thanks a lot, man.
I used to correct you in the chat all of the time, and you always ignored it and kept doing it. So I went, okay, this is.
I was probably drunk at the time. Come on, man. You got to know how this works. Boomer knows how it works. You wait until the next day and tell me.
Oh my god.
So Villeneuve is not Villeneuve, is it? That's how I always say.
So a lot of people they want to say Denis Villeneuve because that's what it looks like, but it's something more like Denis Villeneuve or something. It's some yeah.
I know my French pronunciation. I just had the wrong name.
Yeah, you kept saying it after a while. I was like, wait, I don't think that's right. That's funny.
All right.
Now I feel like Hecklefish Moriarty. What did I say?
All right. So
Yeah, I
Bush was
like
saying-
your yeah. By the way, Brandon, I meant to say I like your avatar.
Well, thank you.
Cool.
It's it got tweaked. I've got several dependent upon the mood that I'm in and the show that I'm doing. Let me see if I can snag a few. So this one is my original. This is how I started.
Oh, okay.
This is how I am when I get super animated and dark.
Oh, okay.
This is what I would look like if I was thin and Korean. This is what I would look like if I was a king. And if I was part of the Straw Hats.
Oh gosh.
Wow.
Oh my.
Yeah, but this is
That's
the
funny.
current
Okay.
iteration.
Well, that's cool. That's a cool one.
Yes. So yeah, I do need to go here in just a bit. My headache is starting to crawl me, but I do have a vid clip ready for you. That it's a nice little.
What is your favorite thing to do?
Spreading the word and love of Jesus Christ to the many people of the world, teaching peace and love for all.
And the killing of vampires?
Just try to fucking stop me.
And what about Protestants?
Second verse, same as the first. Now put me on a plane so I can put him in a hearse.
Oh no,
Alex,
there's
Wow.
nothing wrong with Father Anderson. Nothing at all.
He's one of the villains on that, right?
Kinda.
Yeah.
kind of,
He's
yeah.
he's the anti-Alucard. He
Right.
is.
Yeah.
He's part of the Judas Priest order. He's known as the Paladin, Father Alexander Anderson, who cannot be killed. And him and the man go at it for a while until closer to the end of the series when he uses an artifact to change him. So if you haven't seen it, definitely need to. I would say
Watch-
watch Ultimate, and then watch Abridged to laugh your ass off, just like with that.
Yeah. And there's also
Hilarious.
the original, the first series, which isn't as good as Ultimate, but still
Yeah.
fun.
That's the one I had watched. I hadn't seen Ultimate, but I saw the original.
Abridged is so funny. Nazis called it.
And
How's your health plan? Apparently, it's great.
I have clips of all of that. Let me
Oh my gosh.
let me see if I
so
can find
fun.
one more that won't get anybody completely slaughtered here. Hold on. Where is it? Where's a good one? Is that the shorty? No, where's the long one? Here it is. All right, Steven. If you want to do this one, this is a good one. This is a good one.
But guess what, Jeeves? That garrote wire won't do shit for dick against armor this thick. What's that, Alfred? How thick is it? Well, half as thick as my dick. So thick enough that you need a fucking anti-tank rifle to pierce it. And I don't even see a piece on your wrinkly old ass.
Police girl, if you may.
Bitches love cannons.
Oh, fuck, that's an anti-tank rifle. Oh, fuck, that's an anti-tank rifle!
You played that one for me too. Bitches love cannons.
Oh yes. Get that bitch a cannon. Bitches love cannons. Yes. Yes, she does, and she's. Yeah, Cirrus Victoria. She's a special character.
The one that always cracks me up that I go back and replay is when they go to Brazil and they get attacked in the penthouse. And Shaker's like, get him on the phone, get him on the phone, get him on the phone right now.
I'm a
the
bitch,
chair-
I'm a bitch, all the bitches back. Yes.
The,
Hold on, I
the
gotta answer
terrorist
this.
couple are a small
Hello?
British woman and some Ozzy Osbourne looking motherfucker.
All right, let me. Yes, I know I've got it here somewhere. I've got them named, so I can try to
my
find them
gosh,
easily.
that's
But
Oh,
you know,
nice.
sometimes.
Sorry, folks, we're going into Helsing Ultimate here. This is what happens when you get me and Brandon and Sin together.
Let's
just
see.
go into the
Five
shit.
Frenchie, good dog. Get those teeth. I eat people. No, it's not eat. I eat people. Here it is. All right, I've got it for you.
Okay.
Ben, you spare blood.
Jeez, fun.
Also, tell that guy to stop spying on me. It's creepy. Shit. Now that I'm all by myself, I can just kick back and reel.
Shots fired from the penthouse suite on the top floor. The initial SWAT team has not reported back, leading officials to fear what's worse. The terrorist duo inside is comprised of a young British woman and some Ozzy Osbourne-looking motherfucker.
On the phone. Get him on the phone. I want him on the phone right now.
Hold on a minute. I gotta take this. Yellow.
Okay, now I gotta ask, and you guys know this stuff. This is all translated, right? Is this actually a translation that's like faithful, or is it like tongue-in-cheek humorous dub?
this is a humorous dub. This is not
Yeah.
the original.
Okay.
Fans
This
made
is-
this, I assume, right?
Yeah, the abridged is basically it keeps all the main parts of Ultimate.
It adds humor to
But yeah,
the
they-
situation. They
they
did it for Attack on Titan as well.
I just feel like
they
it
turn it
takes
to
a
11.
special kind of crazy genius to come up with, something that's that funny but not an exact translation.
Yeah. My son did a few of those as well, with a bunch of different anime. It's really funny because you know what's really happening, and then you see this other interpretation of it. It's crazy.
I'd actually kind of like to see that with some other movies.
Yeah,
Maybe they'll do it for Madam Web one day.
Oh,
my
God.
gosh.
that's the type of film that does deserve it, and I've got what happens after he talks to her.
Yeah.
Hey guys, how's your health plan? Apparently it's great!
Walter, be honest with me. What are we looking at in terms of collateral?
Well, the Alucard amount.
So now I'm getting kind of like bad lip reading vibes. I think that's the only thing that I can relate to that's similar in that kind of humor.
Yeah,
Kinda, yeah.
in some ways, yeah.
Oh, bad lip reading's great. That the Game of Thrones.
That one, yes, that one. And Netter and I will
Yeah, that was
still
funny.
quote that to each other.
I like the Last Jedi one, the My Stick video too. That's a funny one.
Oh yeah.
I will hit
So,
you
yeah.
with my stick.
I'm gonna take off for the night. Everybody, you have yourself a wonderful night and enjoy the other side of midnight. And Steven, I've got you coming up here soon, early
Right,
next month, so that'll be good.
March 7th, yeah.
Yeah, and Troy, we got to get you back on there. I got to get you some more anime
Okay.
and get you some more of this insanity that's out there, because it's the fun kind of insanity. The insanity where you don't have to duct tape your head to keep it from exploding because of how bad it is. Speaking of, you must have taken the duct tape when you went and saw this Madam Web atrocity.
I didn't see it. I'm just going by what other people
he
have
spared
said.
himself. Okay.
Yeah.
That's 2 hours of my life I won't get back.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
a little agitated that it took up that much time in my life.
I'm glad that I don't partake in most of that stuff anymore, because
And from what I heard, not enough of the pretty blonde girl, so I'm not interested.
Are we surprised? No, you
She
can't
is
show
one
the
of the
pretty
better
blonde.
parts, though.
We'll see just how bad it crashes and burns, and I think even though this is a Soyoni product, I think it's gonna give Kevin Feige massive, extreme heartburn and make him demand Beavis and Butthead kick him in the jimmy to try and correct it. So I'm out. Take care. Good to see you all.
Later, Brandon.
Have a good one.
Take care,
And
Brandon.
remember, enjoy what you like. Don't watch what you don't. And as always, go watch some anime. Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
I concur with that.
I
got to be heading out too.
Okay.
Early day at work
Right,
tomorrow.
It is about 40-some minutes now since we started.
Anything that you would like to plug before you go, Boomer?
Nothing. Just catch me on Geeky Geezers on Sunday, but on this Tuesday I will be joining you, Deleted Scenes, and the Shellys for the other. Sorry, Sparkwood 21.
Yes.
Where we will be maybe finally coming to a conclusion on this whole Laura Palmer murder situation. Maybe we'll see.
We will. Yeah.
All right. So I'll catch you all later, and thank you for having me on. Appreciate it.
Take care, Boomer.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye, Boomer.
Bye-bye.
All right. Back to the chat, because I did star a few entries here. Shadow of the Raven said, not sure how to feel about Chris Stuckman. Yeah, that's why I made the point so many times during the show that it wasn't a hit piece. Stuckman, personally, I like the guy. Okay, I have nothing against him. His channel was one of the first that I ever subbed to. That I started watching when I came here to YouTube. I've had a few interactions with him behind the scenes. I haven't talked to him personally. We've kind of corresponded back and forth a few times. Always very friendly. Always quick to answer questions or whatnot. I even talked to his wife briefly one time.
He's a really nice guy.
He is a nice guy.
Interactions with him, with my company, and his friend, the guy who does his intro music and outro music, he works with our company. He's our composer, our lead composer. He's a very, very nice man. But yeah, he's getting a lot of flack. He lost 10,000 subs in one day over this whole thing.
Okay, so I'm only marginally aware of what's going on with this. He did like a non-review, right?
A non-review review.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, he's trying. Okay, so he directed a movie. He crowdfunded a film, and he directed it. It's gotten Hollywood attention. And so after that happened, he came out and he said that he wasn't going to do any more negative reviews of movies. Maybe he felt like it was a betrayal of fellow directors, or maybe he's trying to get in good with the bigger Hollywood crowd, and so he didn't want to ruffle feathers.
Okay.
I don't know. So now, whenever he does a review, you know it's because he primarily liked a film. Now, he may have some criticisms of it, but it's not a film he ultimately hated or disliked. He liked it. So anytime you see him not review a movie that's a new one that's come out that he would typically review, you know it's because he didn't like it. He would have given it a negative one. So he came out with Madam Review, and I could tell by the title, I was like, okay, he's going to address that this movie is crap, but he's not going to do it in such a way that he's actually saying the movie's crap. So he basically attacked the studio. It was basically a negative review of the studio. You know, big studio interference and how they can mess up films and all that kind of stuff.
So given that backstory, I guess I can understand where he's coming from, but at the same time, okay, so let me ask you this. So what is the blowback that he's getting from the fans? Why do you think he lost the reviews?
He's getting a lot of blowback because they want him to just go ahead and come out. This is what I think. I think they want him to go ahead and publicly come out with a negative review of the film instead of dancing around the issue. Okay. But, you know, and I mean, people have made videos about, I do feel like now people are dogpiling on him. People have made videos about him. There was this whole long-ass discussion about him with, like, Critical Drinker and Nerderotic and a bunch of other people. Like, they're dogpiling on him. And it's just like, okay. Y'all. It's a little frustrating because Chris Stuckman made his name doing movie reviews.
Yeah.
Critical and, negative and positive. And so now he's like, oh, I'm a movie reviewer. I know how hard I'm a movie director. I know how hard it is now. Oh. And so it's like, okay, well, you're kind of like, you're kind of forgetting where you came from. I think that's the feeling people have.
And I see what Sashi's saying here, too. He didn't want to put down the effort that goes into the movie, which is stupid. No way to improve if there's no criticism.
I agree. I don't agree with the route he's taking, but, you know, it's his channel.
My thought is that if you are going to stop doing reviews, then maybe you stop doing reviews at all.
Just
if you can't.
That was my point.
Yeah. Or the other side of it is, if you're only going to do positive reviews, then your silence should be deafening. He should never have done anything about Madam Web, and that ought to have been, insert negative here because that's what it would have been if I'd have done the review.
Everybody would have known, okay, Chris would have given this a terrible review pre-movie day, pre-directorial days.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
But I'm not prepared to give coverage to somebody because now he's made a movie and now he knows how difficult it is. No. because exactly what Sashi said. If you are worth your weight in salt, then you are open to criticism. And you want people to tell you, yeah, I didn't like it, and this is why. And then you take it and you say, is this a fair review? Yeah, maybe it is. Maybe I can improve next time. Or, nah, this guy's just a jamoke, you know?
Yeah, it's weird. It's like he feels like because he's a director, he can't criticize, but then, like has already been mentioned, then just don't review movies anymore.
Exactly.
You gotta, like, what chair do you really want to sit in? So.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
Now, somebody else made, I don't remember who, but somebody else made a point that at the beginning of his career, Quentin Tarantino used to make no bones about the fact that if he didn't like a movie, he would come out and say it. But now it's something that he doesn't do. He doesn't talk about, rather he hates a movie or even loves a movie. He doesn't talk about it.
Huh.
Yeah. And hello to
nothing in
Cheetah,
particular.
love you.
Just general talk. We've kind of slid into Madam Web and Chris Stuckman territory.
Yeah.
Sometimes they are, Carl. You know, if Critical likes something, he'll come out and say it.
Oh, he'll say it, yeah.
But and he does seem to be a bit more open than some others that kind of run in his circle. He seems to be a bit more open to be receptive to something if he actually likes it. But then there's times where I feel like he's inconsistent in his criticisms of certain things, because I've seen where he was criticizing something about Black Widow. A lot of people didn't like Black Widow. I actually enjoyed it, though there were parts of it I didn't like. But he was making fun of this scene where Black Widow's sister like drives some sort of something into this engine and it explodes and it throws her off, right? And she doesn't die, whatever. And he was like just savaging that scene, but then there was a scene in another movie that he happened to love, like maybe from the 80s or 90s or whatever, where something very similar happens. An explosion happens, the good guy gets kind of blown off, but he doesn't die. It was almost this exact same setup and scenario, but he's fine with this one. And so it's like I'm getting a little bit of inconsistency with him sometimes in his criticisms, though I do agree with much of what he says in his negative criticisms about certain stories.
I have noticed this about myself sometimes, that I can have, if you call it inconsistency, I can accept that. But oftentimes I will acknowledge it, because there is something to be said for, if you've been on point for everything else, then you may have earned my buy-in on something that I otherwise wouldn't let go in a movie that I didn't care for.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He didn't do that in this case. I know what you mean, though. I get it, because let's say if there's a similar thing that happens in a movie that I liked or didn't like, and yet I like this one but don't like this other. I explain why.
Yeah.
Why certain things worked for me and why it didn't. Or I try to explain to the best of my ability. But I still like to listen to his reviews, and he's a writer, and so he knows what it takes to write good things. And
and you have to give him also the benefit of his shtick, right? I mean, he's doing a bit with every review he does. He's in character. He's oftentimes exaggerating for effect and whatnot.
For sure. And it's funny. I mean, he's pretty funny. He still cracks me up.
It's the first time I heard him in a chat show where he was just being himself.
Were you surprised at how normal he sounded?
Yes, but I couldn't put my finger on exactly in what way he was different, because I'm like, same accent, same voice, but not in character. And
he wasn't acting drunk.
He wasn't acting drunk is basically what it comes down to. But maybe it's because because of my drinking. I just normal drunk. I'm not seeing the difference.
It's his persona, and he definitely hams it up. In his earlier reviews, you go back and listen, he sounded more normal,
Mm-hmm.
and then how whatever it was, or whenever he started to kind of insert that drunk part of it in, and that became his thing. That's his persona for his reviews and things.
Yeah, no, exactly.
It's funny because we got him to do some work for us in one of the audiobook productions that we worked on, because I had been in contact with him before, and I asked him if he'd do an interview with me, and he did. It was like a couple years back. So we did an interview on my channel, and because of that connection, when this particular book series in book 3, I think, there was an alcoholic Scottish dwarf. Yeah. So
Perfect.
So my boss said, "Hey, can you contact the drinker and see if he'll do this for us?" And so I did, and he did, and it was this whole thing where we had to rent a recording studio there where he lives in Scotland.
Sure.
And my boss got on video chat. It was perfect casting, Sashi. My boss got on video chat with him and was directing him, and this whole session on the drinker's side was videotaped. And so I have a copy of that videotape, and I asked him a couple years back, "Hey, I got this video of you in the recording. Can I do a reaction to it?" And he said yes. And I keep forgetting that I've got it on my stinking computer.
You've got to now. Now that you've said it, I want to see it so bad.
There is a little tiny clip of him. He put it up. Either Sound Booth Theater put it up, or he put it up on his page. A really tiny clip of him during this recording process, and he was so uncomfortable looking.
Oh gosh, I was gonna ask you. Okay, he's got the Scottish, he's got the drunk. How did he make himself sound short?
I honestly don't know, because I only heard clips of it and I don't remember much. I just remember that I could tell, he does not look comfortable, because he's not an audiobook narrator or an actor. You could say he's acting in his little things, but
Yeah.
whatever, that's maybe easier to do. But anyway, so we're trying to work out getting him back, because now we're redoing that series in an audio drama form.
Sure.
With sound effects and music and Foley and all that. So we're probably gonna bring him back to reprise that character again. It's just very difficult now to get in touch with him more often. I feel like he needs a separate email address to give to his business contacts.
Yeah.
Because when I write his regular email address now, he's got an automated response.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas before, he would write you back. Now he's kind of, I guess, trying to, obviously I'm sure he gets bombarded. Well, I know he gets bombarded with stuff. Anyway, one of these days, I swear, I will get around to that. I don't do too many reactions anymore. I have old reaction videos that I haven't edited yet, and because I just prefer to do reviews. And I see that I'm going through my file folder, and I see that, oh, doggone, I need to do that, and then I forget all about it.
Yeah.
Well, you just put up the 10 words that what was it? 10 words that confuse, that Americans use to confuse British
and you know
people
what?
Yeah,
that was something I recorded back in April of 2023, I think. I just forgot to edit it. April or May. Yeah, I'm not kidding you. I just today finished editing a reaction video to episodes 9 and 10 of season 1 of Cobra Kai that I recorded back in April of 2023.
I am in no position to comment on people taking a long time to edit something. I am trying to get put together an opening for a new show that I want to start doing, and I can't start doing the show till I do the opening. But I keep putting it off and putting it off.
Yeah, because it's kind of a tedious pain in the butt to do what you're, the same with reaction videos. It's very tedious. And there was a Terminator 2 watch party I did 3 years ago that I only released the first maybe 30 minutes of it as a part 1. I never went back and finished it because it was a nightmare. My source file was off sync, so I had to then get another file to put on top
God.
of it, and then
Yeah.
try to match up the video and the audio of the Terminator movies and make sure it's consistent with our reaction. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's such a pain.
Well, and that's why I do so many live streams, because no editing
Live stream.
involved, you know?
Yeah. It's just easier. Well, definitely no editing involved. You got this free flow. You can talk with the people that are watching and commenting. But when I do reviews, I can edit out all the long pauses.
Right,
where I
right,
can't
right.
think of it, and I don't have that luxury in live streams. I have to think quick on my feet on live streams.
I mean, in fairness, every last call that I do, I have a 30-second or more little intro monologue that I do. That's pre-recorded and that's scripted, and I fix it in the editing. I take out all the inhales of breath and the awkward pauses and or if I flub a word, I just back up and say it again, because I know I can just edit it right out.
Yeah.
And I've actually gotten pretty good at the editing. It's like I've gotten to the point where I can listen to it and I can't hear the edit. I'm like, I did pretty good.
Yeah. What program do you use?
Audacity.
Oh, for the audio, yes.
Just straight for the audio.
I use Audacity too. I love Audacity.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great program.
And that's why I kind of prefer. My video editing is not so good for keying into very specific moments. It's a little chonky. So that's why I love being able to edit the audio and just using it for overlays and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If you need an Australian voice, you can consider the guy who does the Randy Feltface character.
I don't know who that is.
I'm not familiar either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That name doesn't jump out at me. But yeah. And I'll tell you, these people doing voice acting, that is a heck of a talent.
Oh my gosh.
There's a lot of people that are just really good with accents, changing the pitch, changing intonation. The only voices I can do are ones that I've practiced, to do imitations of someone in particular, not in general,
Yeah, it's definitely a specific. I mean, you're basically an actor. It's acting. It's behind a microphone. And my boss Jeff Hayes is probably the best audio narrator I've ever heard, because his range of voices that he can do, and he can do it on the fly too. He can go from a male voice to a female voice just like that. And he'll do live streams where he's doing what we call cold reads, where he's reading the first, 20-30% of a book that he's doing, and you can watch his recording process, and he's just got it down, and it's just amazing.
I think that that sort of talent, that form of storytelling, which we all, well, you guys are younger, so you may not, but back in the day when they used to do audio dramas on radio.
Audio dramas, yeah. I have some old radio audio dramas back here. You can't see them, but way back, the mystery novels, the Green Hornet.
Yeah, as a kid, the NPR used to do a lot of them. I think they still do. And I love those. And now I'm starting to see more and more YouTubers starting to do it. Tom Conkle does regular. He does this Flash Gordon radio show with his troupe. He's got a couple of other, one-off type audio dramas that he's been doing. And he does them in that old-time radio show type of thing. And I'm like, there's a place for this in the YouTube sphere. I think there's definitely something there.
Yeah, I agree. Some people really like that. That's what we've started to lean more and more heavily into, or things like that.
Oh, so this Randy Feltface is like puppet. Is this like is he a ventriloquist type of character that he does this? called Randy Buys Bookshelf on Gumtree. Gumtree. Is that like
That sounds really familiar.
some sort of Australian version of Amazon?
I've heard of Gumtree before.
Their
but
logo is a kookaburra or something like that.
I thought Gumtree was something software related, but he might be talking about something completely different.
Oh, okay. I'm looking this up. Yeah, I've seen this character before. Yeah.
Now I gotta look it up too. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh my gosh, you're right. I've seen this one too.
Randy Feltface?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like a purple Muppet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is going to be one of those synchronicity type of things. I'm going to be seeing him
Okay,
like
I
all
don't
over the
recognize-
place now.
I don't recognize him. I don't think I've seen him.
But yeah, I don't know. See, I've been going back and forth with Boomer a lot, but just in general, a lot of people talking about all this technology, the AI, and so forth, and I'm getting a little worried because I've been kind of following the way these audio AIs, these voiceover programs are going. And I'm telling you, they're getting better like every month. We're not talking years here. I think in the next year or two, you're going to be able to have AI generative voice, programs kind of taking the place of voice actors.
Well, some authors already use them.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like they're going to take the place of fiction voice acting. I think they'll probably do great in nonfiction stuff because you don't need to have much acting involved. I haven't yet heard an AI voice that is even close to convincing me that they could perform a fictional role.
Well, the one that I use for some of my stuff, which I have no problem with people, knowing and realizing that it's artificially generated, but they just started offering a what do they call it? Like a conversational mode or conversational voices. And let me tell you, I've experimented with them, and they really do sound like a real person. If you didn't know that it was automatically generated, you'd think it was a real person who recorded their voice. It's kind of scary almost.
Yeah, it's definitely something that's advancing pretty quickly.
Gumtree
And a new
is like
name to the
Craigslist.
chat. Samuel Panan, thank you for joining us.
Hola.
So this is the Randy Feltface character, which I quite frankly had forgotten about. So thank you, Sashi, for reintroducing this character. Obviously, we cannot play the clip because I don't want to get hit for copyright.
Right.
Because I think we've had quite enough of that between me and Bill this weekend.
Oh, really?
Where unfortunately, our karaoke stream last night got blocked worldwide. So we're in the middle of.
Wow, do you know what song it was?
Most of them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the music stuff.
They've gotten really, really bad lately. I was saying that all of my streams where I've been opening with a song have gotten hit. And at least they're not copyright strikes. They're copyright claims.
Just a flag, yeah.
So if I was monetized, I'd be making nothing on that stream. So that's why I've been telling people. That's why if you want me to sing a song, you got to buy me a drink, because otherwise I'm making nothing on this stream.
Yeah, it's frustrating. It's very frustrating to deal with. It's especially frustrating when someone files like let's say a review video or whatever, they file a claim or they flag it and you dispute it, and then they deny the dispute, and then you appeal it, and then they deny the appeal and you get a strike, and then you try to issue a counter notification, and then YouTube will sometimes say, we don't feel you have the right to use this, so we're not going to forward this counter notification. That's not their business to try to determine. They've even said that's not what they do. But by you saying you don't feel I have a right to use it, you are therefore determining for yourself.
And I've said this a bunch of times. These kinds of things need to be. The only way this is going to be worked out is eventually there's going to have to be class action suits, because you can't be both a publisher and a platform. You can't have it both ways. And if you're going to have a terms of service, it's got to be clear, and clear enough that I can have the transparency to know that you are applying it fairly. Because if I can't, there's an assumption that it's not being applied fairly. And let's face it, every YouTuber knows they are not being fair. When I'm getting hit for something that the bigger channel isn't, that's not fair.
It definitely doesn't seem fair, for sure. So, but the reason that they're coming down like this so hard on some channels is because they're afraid of getting sued by these bigger companies. So that's why they instituted all these rules. But then at the same time, you're not appearing to be applying them.
Well,
across the board, the same for everybody.
The other thing that they're not thinking about is eventually people will start looking at this as employees suing an employer. It's going to come down to labor laws. You don't get to enrich yourself off of my content because you've after you've demonetized me. That's going to become a problem. That's going to be just like forcing employees to work for no pay and stuff like that. And it's not going to be established until a lawsuit happens.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing that they changed with the requirements for monetization a few years back was super frustrating, because they used to make it so much easier. Mm-hmm. And smaller YouTubers, as long as you had like 100 subscribers, I think, was all that you needed. You could apply for advertising, and my son at one point had that, and his channel had just started to earn a little bit of money, not much, but a little bit. And then they're like, "Oh no, you need 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours every year," and it's just like, what? And they also will put ads on a channel that's not monetized. So they're profiting, but they won't let you.
That is exactly
wrong.
my point. And hey, Jedi Bill.
Hello, Bill.
But that's exactly my point, because here's the thing. How do you justify making money off of my work? And not cutting me in on it. There is no legal precedent for such a thing.
Yeah, I don't know what justification they have for it.
None, because they can, because it's their platform.
They're
and
a private company.
For now, they pretty much have the monopoly. Mm-hmm. Now the difference is, like Rumble, you're monetized from day one. Now it's dependent on. You do make more if you have more people, more subscribers, if you get more watch time. Mm-hmm. But honestly, with the few people that I have over there and the very little watch time, I've made a few cents, which is incredible for something that's literally just a backup to my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I've made zero on YouTube. So, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying everybody ditch YouTube and go over to Rumble. Rumble's got plenty of problems. They are not, they're not there yet. There's a lot of things they need to get working right to be up to YouTube's.
True, but they are the strongest YouTube competitor, I think.
Yes,
and I've tried
and they're getting there.
all of them.
They are getting there. They have their struggles. They're literally being embargoed by YouTube because they you used to be able to just automatically back up, and YouTube shut that off through
Yep.
Google.
They sure
And that's
did.
another
Can't do it
example.
now.
That's another example of monopoly. There needs to be an antitrust case there.
Yeah, that used to be so convenient and amazing. They haven't turned it off for places like BitChute
Yeah.
and Minds maybe, and also Odyssey. Those will still automatically port. But Rumble, all of a sudden it stopped working. So now I'm having to go back and manually upload these ones that didn't port over.
Yeah.
That's really annoying.
Sashi, this naked yoga, any good? now I'm curious. I mean, you got my attention. I saw naked, you know?
I bet it did.
And speaking of the chat, there are a few statements here that I started. I did want to get back to real quick.
Yeah.
Going back to Madam Web for a moment, Bruce said she's
right
wanted for
earlier.
kidnapping in 2003, doesn't get stopped at the airport, flies to Peru, and is let back in.
That was a quick
She
trip.
teleported to Peru. Post 9/11 New York, no way she got on a plane.
Well, it was
Yeah.
2 hours later, so that was 2 hours. Oh my gosh, it was 2 years after 9/11, so that wasn't too much suspension of disbelief that she made that trip. But just boy, it was really quick, and of course she came back at just the right moment.
Right.
2 years. I still got to take my shoes off when I go to an airport.
Yeah. Depends on the airport. Some of them you don't. It's
Wow.
weird. Some you don't have to take your electronics out. The airports aren't consistent. And
Elsa says,
if you're not careful, TSA agents can get a little bit handsy with your money.
Wow.
So I walk through the screener, the machine, with my license and my cash in my hand. The stolen
but yeah,
cash
I mean, there were a number of inconsistencies. This is why I'm thinking the movie got, if not reshot, certainly re-edited in post. Because the Ezekiel Sims character in particular, who's the supposed villain of this movie, he was clearly ADR'd throughout.
Yeah, people were.
No, I mean,
pointing that
it
out.
is
It was bad.
obvious. Most of that whole third act was ADR'd, near as I could tell.
Ugh. You were talking about good voice actors. If you want to see a really good comedic actor, Paul Whitehouse. I don't think I've ever heard of him, actually.
Rolly Birkin. But yeah, that's another real problem that I have with movies these days is the fix it in post mentality. I'm getting sick of it. You need talent, and by talent I mean the writers, who have it planned out from the beginning. Get it right, and there should not be any major changes that need to be done at the end. The only time you should be, doing any refilms is we went to edit this and we got a really bad camera angle. This isn't going to work. We couldn't find a way to make it work. We need to refilm this shot or something. Or, we read it. It looked good. But now that we see it, we feel like there's a scene that's missing for this setup. So we need to do that. That's part of making movies. But this whole idea of completely scrap the story and make it a whole nother story, or completely change the ending,
Justice League.
it's ridiculous. And this is why these movies are failing so badly. Despite what the fans want to say, oh, it had a budget of this and it made this, so it was a profit. No, that was the budget that they announced. That doesn't count all the reshoots and the reshoots and the reshoots because they're making like 2-3 movies, you know, when they are only supposed to be making one.
Yeah, it's a mess.
Personally, I think what they should be doing, if they're going to go to this much effort, take all of that footage, give it to the DVD makers, and say, make a twist a plot out of this. Choose your own adventure.
That would be interesting.
It actually kind of might be kind of fun.
Yeah.
I was watching someone did a video on those old Choose Your Own Adventure books. What I didn't know was they took some of those books and made them into DVDs. And using your DVD remote, you could, you know, do the story that way. And they had, like, big-name voice actors, you know, working on it. And I'm like, you know, that sounds like it would be fun. They should make more of those.
Yeah, I don't think I ever messed around with those, but I knew of them. I used to really love those Choose Your Own Adventure. I had a bunch of them, and I had the Indiana Jones ones. They were so fun.
I had a Star Trek one. Yeah.
I had a G.I. Joe one.
Oh.
I had all of the, because I got these things through Scholastic Readers. One of their competitors was Twist-A-Plot, and I got every single one of the Twist-A-Plots.
No.
And then, I don't remember who, Fighting Fantasy put out, they were basically like Choose Your Own Adventure books, but there was an added benefit that they treated it like a tabletop role-playing game. So there was this very basic create your character. You'd use dice and what do you call it? Like, you know, dice and a pencil and whatnot. And you'd figure out your stats. And when you get to a monster, it would say the monster has this many hit points and this much strength. And then you'd roll for the monster, you'd roll for yourself, and, you know, if you survive, turn to this page. If you die, turn to this page, you know? I'm like, oh, that was pretty cool, too. It was a way of playing, like, Dungeons & Dragons when you know, were alone, you know? Which sounds sad.
I've never played Dungeons and Dragons, so I wouldn't know. I've just seen it on movies and shows.
I mean, you know, it's great when you have friends. When you don't have friends, it's not so great.
It's sad.
Demented and sad, but social.
Yeah, I'd like to get involved with a game sometime. I've never played either.
And that's one of the things I'm trying to get up on my channel, if I could ever get my editing done, is I have this one adventure that took years for me and my group, and it became this great story, and we put it up as a blog. It's a great read. A lot of people have loved it, and now I'm just trying to edit it together with visuals and, you know, AI voices and whatnot. And the first two are up on my channel, and they're pretty good, but a lot of work, you know?
Imagine.
This is why I keep saying, you know, if anything happens to this work from home position that I've had for 3 years now, if there's ever turnover and I find myself out of work, I'm going to really try to make this YouTubing thing a thing. I'll spend 8 hours a day editing, you know, and getting videos up.
It's a lot of work.
Sure. It's just not something I can do when I'm working full time, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. My day job keeps me pretty occupied as well, so I have to juggle all of that schedule. Okay, I'm going to watch a movie at 8 o'clock tonight. You know, I'm going to edit this movie the next day, or edit the review. I'm going to go see this movie on this day at the theater.
This is why I think, I suspect this is probably why Paulie does all those out of the theater reviews, because it's kind of like doing a live stream, except, you know.
And also a review without having to sit down and edit it.
Yeah, exactly. And I dig that. And I hadn't considered, you know, the editing part of it before. I kind of like the fact that it is Like my gut instinct. I haven't had a chance to think about it yet. This is my first reaction. Because I'm sure you've done this too, Sin. I do it all the time. I maybe really like a movie, and then the more I think about it, I'm like, do I really? You know?
Yeah, I've done some out of the theaters, and then later had a change of thought process about the film. I don't necessarily go back and re-review it, but I've done out of the theater, and then I've done an out of the theater of a specific movie. Let's say just a really big and hugely anticipated movie like Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I did an out of the theater as I was walking to the doors. But then I did go home and I did film a full-on review. So, and sometimes I don't care enough about a movie to do a full-on review. Maybe I'll just do a quick little audio video short of it or an out of the theater. It all depends.
Sure.
But I like out of the theater reactions because they make me excited to see a movie. They make me excited about just movies in general. So they are fun to watch.
Yeah, I don't normally do reviews, and I may only have one review up on my channel, and it was a review that I did of Rambo: Last Blood, and I did it as a very positive review, but since I did it, I've been thinking more and more about it, and I'm like, is it really as good as I gave it credit for? You know? Feel more like I wanted to like it, and I felt it was an important movie at the time, but that does not necessarily equate to it being a good movie in and of itself.
Was this the very last one that was done?
Yeah.
Or the one before that? Oh.
No, the very last one.
Ooh, that one got crucified.
Well,
a lot of critics.
But see, that might have been a little unfair on the other side too, because they were out to hate it, you know, and that's kind of unfair too. It was okay. Now looking back on it, I can say it was okay. It was weak in several ways, and yeah, given what the rest of the series was like, that it was kind of a weak way to end it. And honestly, the very ending was probably the weakest, because it doesn't take a stand on whether he lives or dies at the end. It's like we're keeping it open in case we want to do another one, you know. But it's like, just commit already, you know.
Well, they do show him riding off, so you could take that as he. If you want to look at it as he survived, which I think he did, but or you can take it as, you know, the people who've seen the ending of Shane too many times.
I was getting ready to say Shane. Yeah, I was
yeah.
getting ready to say that.
That's why I feel like, yeah, they kind of wanted their cake and be able to eat it too, you know. Yeah, we would kill him off, but if it does well, we might want to do a sequel. So let's leave it open-ended at the end. That's like, you know.
Shadow the Raven is asking, have you guys seen the trailer for Shogun? Yes. And man, I hope they don't mess this up, because Shogun is something that is very close to me. I used to watch that with my father. I saw it originally back in the day, first run. And
was that a mini-series with Richard Chamberlain in it?
Yep.
It was, yes.
Yeah, it was. I remember that.
Because they used to call Richard Chamberlain the king of the miniseries. Because he not only had Shogun, he had Centennial,
Thornbirds.
Thornbirds. He had the original Bourne Identity.
I guess I didn't know that.
And yeah. Well, his version's much closer to the books, but yeah. Man, I hope they don't mess up Shogun. Yeah, it is a reboot of the series. Yeah.
I've never read the novel, Cheetah.
Shadow says the original is very good. Not sure about the casting for Blackthorn because I think they actually got like a legit Dutchman to play him this time. So
Okay.
we'll see.
When does it come on, and what is it? Is it network or is it streaming on some platform?
I think it's on FX and Hulu,
Okay.
and I think it starts this week.
Maybe I'll check it out. What? How many? Do we
Yeah.
know yet how many episodes there are?
I'm not positive on that yet. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Oh, so if you guys like the movie The Gentleman, I've already mentioned this to Deleted. If you guys like the movie The Gentleman, keep an eye out for the series coming out March 7th, I think, on Netflix. It's. I'm not supposed to say too much. I'm not supposed to. Just.
Oops.
If,
Okay.
I'm not supposed
Forget
to
she
get,
said anything.
I can mention it. I just can't give like any sort of review of it yet, which I'm not done. I'm 3 episodes in. But if you like The Gentleman, okay, then keep an eye out for the show.
Yeah.
All right. Now, according to, I have gone to the Google, have consulted the scrolls. Shogun begins tomorrow night.
Oh.
10 p.m. on FX.
Okay. When does it come into Hulu then? Is it not yet, or until after it's done, or I'm not going to be able to watch it while it's airing. I don't think.
It is going to be 10 parts.
Oh.
With the final episode airing April 23rd.
Okay. All right. So once a week. Maybe I'll just wait till it's all done.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Carl says that Blackthorn is supposed to be English.
Oh.
I keep thinking he was Dutch in the original story. I might just be remembering wrong.
So I remember something I wanted to ask you, Sin.
Yeah.
And don't take this as a hostile question. I'm just curious.
Okay.
You said you didn't care for Zendaya in Dune.
Well, no, not just in Dune. I just don't care for her at all in general.
That's fair.
Yeah, I just
this
get a
is why
vibe from her. I just don't like her too much.
I mean, I kind of liked her back in the, I guess it was like 2010 or something like that. She was on Shake It Up on the Disney Channel.
Mm-hmm.
I liked that show.
A Disney kid. Yeah.
But yeah, she never really struck me as being a great actress. I was destined to struggle with anyone they cast though as Chani because you know.
Oh, you mean in Dune?
Yeah. Because I really liked Sean Young. I mean, although to be honest with you, she probably wasn't the best casting based on the description in the book. But you know, I think I said on another stream I had a magazine. I don't remember what it was. Some movie magazine or sci-fi magazine with publicity stills in it of Sean Young and help me out, Agent Cooper.
Kyle MacLachlan.
Kyle MacLachlan. Yeah, thanks. I'm getting tired. That's it. And there were some pretty steamy pics, and I was like, wow, yeah, digging this, and yeah. So the Zendaya just doesn't do it for me that way.
Yeah, she never really has. I think I don't know. I just get this vibe off her that Zendaya really likes Zendaya.
Oh yeah,
So,
no doubt about it.
A lot of times I can pick up on that, and so that just rubs me wrong. And I never really liked her in the cast for MJ in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I knew what they were doing with that. It's like, okay, She's
Yeah.
supposed to be Mary Jane, but not be Mary Jane, but still be MJ. No.
And she absolutely
I
wasn't.
And I didn't like her character. I didn't like the way I didn't mind her as much in No Way Home. She was probably the most likable to me in that one, but I didn't like her snarky ass character in the first one. And then in the second one, all of a sudden she's not like that anymore, and she's all geeky and shy and fumbling and bumbling around him because she likes him all of a sudden. I was like,
Yeah. But neither one of those is MJ.
yeah.
MJ was like a super hot model chick, you know?
Yeah. Yeah,
And-
I that she was a terrible. Yeah, I thought she was not a good cast for that at all.
And Sashi had said, didn't she show up in a robot suit? Very
I didn't
revealing.
Well, yeah, I've seen her in revealing stuff, but I didn't see this.
Well,
what
it's
you're
this.
talking about.
Imagine like the android character from Metropolis, but with
okay.
major sections that were clear plexiglass, you know?
Okay.
And someone posted it on social media.
Oh my gosh.
And my comment was, that's the weirdest looking still suit I've ever seen.
Oh my goodness. That's funny. Yeah.
I mean, even what's his name, who's playing Paul now, that kid that played.
Timothée Chalamet. I'm not crazy about him either. to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Kinda-
I actually, to be honest with you, as far as casting as Paul, probably a better casting than Kyle MacLachlan.
Really?
Yeah, probably.
See, I haven't read the book, so I wouldn't have any comparison.
But he showed up at the same premiere with also kind of a futuristic looking kind of suit, but not as ridiculous. And I'm looking at it like, what movie do you think you guys were in?
Oh my god.
You know, it's like weird. He looked almost like I got the same vibe as that gold lame disco suit that Mark Hamill wore in some of his publicity shots. I was like, what the heck is this?
Oh, that's something to draw attention.
I guess. But oh god, don't even bring up Rachel Zegler. I'll take Zendaya all day long over Rachel Zegler.
Yeah, I didn't watch the Hunger Games movie specifically because of some actors. Weird. Yeah, weird. Some actors are just too much of a turnoff for me that I know their presence is going to affect my enjoyment.
You mean you don't like noted action hero
And
Rachel
I heard
Zegler?
she didn't really do much action in there. Like, what the heck? Did you see the movie?
No.
Did you? Okay, I heard that she. I think Paulie's seen it, and he was a little bit baffled at the fact that she won this award, and she was up against like, Tom Cruise, and she won. What?
Tom Cruise and Keanu Reeves, and they gave it to Rachel Zegler.
As much as I dislike John Wick, please, how in the world?
Yeah.
Can these people vote for her? I mean, why was she even nominated?
But you know what they're saying? They're literally broadcasting. Well, we can't give it to a white man, so we have to give it to this girl.
Okay, that's probably exactly what it was.
Which entirely throws out any possibility of their of any credibility they might have.
Right. Yeah. Wasn't this sort of like a fans that voted on it, like almost like a
People's Choice Awards? Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, whatever.
Yeah,
I don't see where
it still tells me there's a fix in there somewhere.
Yeah,
that
makes
means
you wonder.
You know, the only fans that got to vote were fans that were approved by, you know, the powers that be.
Weird.
Because I remember back in the day where they put the ballot in the TV guide.
Oh,
and you could send it
okay.
in.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's what you get when you have mail-in ballots.
I don't know that they have mail-in ballots anymore, though, for that.
Poor Keanu.
Yeah.
All that training for nothing.
Well, but see, that's the thing too. I don't think he's in it for the awards. He's in it because he makes buku bucks, and his fans love the hell out of him.
And he enjoys it.
Yeah.
He enjoys it, but it's just weird that she was even nominated to begin with.
I'm a white male, and I'm most to boot. I'm doomed.
Oh, you're Welsh.
It's the
That's great. Stay out of the sun.
There was
I'm sure he does.
There was a Mystery Science Theater episode. It was one of the Gammas, and there's a kid in the movie that looks like a miniature Richard Burton. So they go into this whole bit of Richard Burton as a child actor.
Gosh.
I'm Welsh. I'm poor. My name isn't Richard Burton yet. That's a funny thing. And actors can go with it. Basically, it ends with him guest starring on The Fall Guy. A chance to work with Lee Majors, his boyhood idol.
Sashi says, I'm a dark-skinned Asian man. I have privilege too, apparently. Yes, but very little representation.
The sun. What's that?
Yes, that's all for the best, my friend. Yes.
Listen to your friend. Stay inside.
Yeah. Oh.
All right. Well, we're about at the point where we agree.
We start to fall asleep.
Yeah, my alarm went off, so I was letting him know in the private chat because he did agree for me to set an alarm.
Right.
Because we're all old.
Yes.
I mean, it is 1:41 here. So
yes.
It is late, and I don't typically stay up this late nowadays.
Just for me.
Just for you, yeah. I would normally be asleep by now.
She likes me. No. All right. I do.
Or you owe her.
I do want to go ahead and thank everyone who was following along on Twitter. I can't see you, but I know that you're there. And everybody that was in the chat. JPRPH1, Connie Cleary, Pop Culture I almost said Minefield. Pop Culture Curator. Let's see. Sashi, Shadow of the Raven, Lady V, Bush McFadden, Daniel's Hot Topics, Gorilla's Random Thoughts, have Cheetah Will View, Not This Time Net, Samuel Panan, Jedi Bill, and everybody we might have accidentally skipped. I want to thank Brandon the Anime Guy and Aged Boomer for joining us. All right. Let's go around the horn. Sin, what do you have coming up?
What I'm gonna try to get up tomorrow or Tuesday is a the reaction video to the Cobra Kai last 2 episodes of season 1. I thought I had a live stream. No, that's not that live stream for the mystery movie is next Monday.
Yes, the 4th.
Yeah, and I also have review for a Disney show that was given to me to watch, a Disney debut show. It's an animated show, so I've got a review for that, hopefully coming out this week, because I think the review embargo lifts this week, and also a review for the 2nd season of The Tourist, which comes out on Netflix on the 29th. So that's the immediate stuff for this week.
Right.
And that's it.
Troy.
Well, you can probably tell from my icon, welcome to Twin Peaks. I will be on with you Tuesday evening, 7:30 Central. That's 8:30 your time, for Live from Sparkwood and 21 for the next episode of Twin Peaks. And I have to be very disciplined and out. I might even have to bounce a little bit early because at 9 Central, 10 Eastern, I will be jumping over to Rancor Steve's Man-O-Rama on Rumble. We will be talking about the apparent epidemic of arrogance and what maybe we can do about that. That's Tuesday. Thursday, of course, I co-host on Netters Network. And Friday night, we will be talking about something that I think is really important. Food autonomy, self-sufficiency, and why it's so important. We're going to talk about big agriculture, government corruption, and I'm going to explain a very important case out of Pennsylvania, the case of Amish farmer Amos Miller, and why you should really be paying attention to this case.
Indeed. All right, that brings it on over to me, and well, I have a pretty busy couple of weeks coming up.
No kidding.
Starting tomorrow at 3 p.m., Jedi Bill will be joining me for a review of the movie that we watched earlier today, Murder at Yellowstone City. Interesting movie. So we've got some thoughts on it, so stay tuned for that. And as Troy brought up, there is, of course, live from Sparkwood and 21, Tuesday at 8:30 Eastern, where we watch the episode 16, Arbitrary Law, which is the wrap-up of the main storyline. There will, of course, be my weekend update on the 29th. I'm also seeing Dune on that day, so there will be a review upcoming. Let me see. Let me scroll up here. This weekend, Saturday at 7 p.m., Jedi Bill will be once again joining me for our top 10 movies of 2023 list. I know we're very late with this, but there were a few movies that we wanted to get out of the way and review first before we did a full-on show. But we're going to be doing that. Sunday, 3 p.m., Western Cinema Presents. We are going to be watching McClintock with John Wayne and Maureen O'Hara. And good news, folks, this movie is public domain now, so we can actually show it to you live. You do not need to join us on Cosme, so this is going to be a fun one. And later that night, Jedi Bill going to be joining me again, and we are going to be doing the 10 worst movies of 2023. No unscripted next week, in case we go over. So that gets us on over to March the 4th, where, as Sin mentioned, Mystery Movie Night at the Regal. And then, let's see, the 7th, I joined Brandon on his channel for his Thursday night show. And then on the 10th, unscripted is going to be 2 hours. And that's going to be my Oscar Not So Special, as I'm calling it. So, all right. That's all the links I have up right now. All right.
Cool.
So I will be
reviewing
here,
Dune
folks.
as well. Sorry, I forgot to mention that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm hoping to get some people together for a round table at the end of the week and talk about it. So. Okay.
Cool. Oh, I also have a live stream next week the day after I do the one with you, where the subject is going to be 3 movies that we feel deserve a remake. Because you know how we complain about remakes, but some movies should be remade.
Oh yes.
So
I can certainly think of a couple. So
yeah,
that's definitely going to be an interesting show.
I need to think of some.
I'll be looking forward to that. All right, folks. Thank you all once again for joining us. This has been The Other Side of Midnight. Sven, any last words?
No, I'm too tired to think of last words right now.
All right.
Sorry. Thank you to everybody who showed up. Honestly, it was great. I had some on my YouTube channel. I had several on Rumble that showed up, even though they're quiet. So thank you to everyone. It was fun.
Troy.
Now, thanks so much for having me. Thanks everyone for being here, and let's get through this week so we can get to the next weekend and drink.
Indeed.
Ready for that? Okay.
And Netter, I know you were with us in the background.
Hope you feel
Please
better, Netter.
get well
Oh,
soon.
that rhymed. I didn't mean for it to.
Netter, feel better.
All right, folks, remember to please hit the like, share out the stream, and if you are new to the channel, please subscribe. From HQ, good night, take care, stay strong, because this is how we win. Dulcimerist coming in at the end. No worries. Unlike my last live stream, it will remain up.